All right. Um, let's start here. How many people on this call would love like a one-on-one mentor session with their mentor? Throw a five in the chat if that's what you'd like. Like if you could just sit down for 30 minutes and just like role play with your mentor, the guy that hired you, the gal that hired you, whatever. It's amazing here with those clothes on the ground, isn't it? I was trying to make a joke. But how many of you would like that? How many of you don't get that? Actually, don't answer that. That's a bad question. You guys ever watch Suits? Like, don't ask that. No, don't ask that. Yeah, don't. Yeah, no numbers in the chat for that. Yeah, that. My mentor never calls me back. All right, now throw a 10 in the chat if you've tracked every dial that you've made, every contact you've made, every appointment you've booked, every sit since you got here. Throw a 10. 9.75. Yeah, I knew you were close, T. I knew there was some gaps in there. I knew there was some gaps in there. Okay. Okay. It's not 1 out of 10. Okay. Tyler's making a joke, James Butler. He's like 80%. Yeah. Sean, I'm glad that you have. It's your first week or second week. You know, I'm glad. $300. I like the activity, right? What we will find is it is incredibly difficult to coach anybody without accurate data. Simeon, I've had agents that come on the team, they're like, hey, can you teach me XYZ, XYZ, XYZ? I'm like, well, it's the script, but I don't know if you're not good at it yet. Like, there may be superpowers that you have. Like, I never had to teach Tyler how to book appointments, ever. I never had to teach that to him. We never even had to have a role play with it. I don't think we've ever role played it other than teach other people in 3 years. Why? He was naturally good at it. If anything, it was like, hey, slow down. Because he was ba 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 ba. I mean, guy can talk. Kid can really talk, especially he still had that fish house in him when he got here, right? But that's the only thing. The numbers tell the story. They tell the entire story. Okay. Does anybody here not know what accounting what counts is? Throw a seven in the chat if you don't know what accounting what counts is. Mitzi does not. That's okay. This is good. This is opportunity for growth. Follow me? Opportunity for growth. All right. If somebody has the link, if there's leaders on the call that have the link to the Counting What Counts, if you could throw it in there. If not, towards the end of the call, I'll help everybody find it. I know it's in HQ somewhere. Okay. Ian Graham created it a couple years ago, and it's a game changer. The main thing is consistency. Has anybody here ever like Tyler? I don't know if I don't think this has happened to Tyler because Tyler actually works a lot, but there were days, Eric, where I didn't track my numbers and I just went off of feelings, and it's like Devin would call me like, how many dollars you have? I don't know, like 54, and or 105, or if I ever started that conversation with, I don't know, probably like, and used weak language because I didn't know. Because every time I call Tyler and ask him how many dollars you made, he just 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. He's got them. And I will tell you, whenever I'm emotional about my dials, I've never made as many dials as I think that I have. I'm usually like 54, 7, and 2, which is actually good. It just feels like I'm getting my ass beat. Okay. So first and foremost, if you want, like, I can tell you guys right now how to demand time from your mentor. Like, I can tell you how to do it because I've done it for years. Okay. All you got to do, okay, all you got to do, okay, real simple. You're going to get leads because there's a spot on the Counting What Counts where it talks about resources. You're gonna buy leads every week. How are we going to know? Well, we get emails if you buy when you buy leads, we get emails, lots of emails, unfortunately, but we get emails with that, so we already know. But it's good if you're just kind of truthful about it, you know what I mean, Eric? And then you just throw the number in there so I know how many leads you're working every week, right? And then it's got how many dials you made, how many hours you worked, right? It's got how many contacts, and then keep that data for like 3 or 4 or 5 weeks in a row, and then call the person that hired you and say, "Hey, I just sent you my count and what counts. Can you help? If now's not a good time, can we schedule something later today or tomorrow?" And if they don't, then you come to me the next day and I will wear their shit out. Heard? Because that's their job. That's what they get paid overrides for, to help. But it's also your job, right? It's our job as agents to demand that time and not just beg for it. We beg for it with our actions, not with our words. We have to demand it. You guys follow me on that? We have to demand that time. Like Devin didn't work with me just because I was the only guy that he had the first day I got in the office because his whole team had quit. He didn't work with me because of that. Okay. He wasn't desperate for me because he hired 7 people a week for an entire year. It's just crazy. Wrote 7 apps a week and hired 7 people a week. But I can tell you this, I demanded that rascal's time because I outworked everybody he hired. How many of y'all got that kind of dog in you? Tyler's got it. I seen it. Okay, I'm gonna talk real redneck today. I'm just feeling real, I got like 14 Helens to call this afternoon and a couple Miss Georgies. So I'm pretty excited. I got to get in my southern twang here. Okay. But that's the reality, guys. If you want to win here, demand it. Okay? Demand it. And if they won't help you, damn it, I'll help you. I mean, a couple months ago, we did the thing where if you made 300 calls in a day, or had 6 sits in a day, I'll role play with you until the evening like ends. Like I'll role play with you all night. I don't care. We ain't doing that now because I got an 8-month-old and I ain't trying to get divorced. My wife will come in here and be like, "You told them you do what?" I can do that when she was pregnant. I can't do that shit when we got a kid. Okay, it ain't happening. But I'll get up with you early because he wakes up at the ass crack of dawn, like 4 a.m. We'll get up. I don't care. I'll do it. What else I'm gonna do? Watch him sleep, which is what I've been doing. All right. So that's the first thing I want to go over. Get the counting what counts and create habits, guys. Create habits in your schedule that every night you update it. Every night you update it. And be real with yourself. Don't think I think I made like $127 a day, which is still not a very big day. I think there's not any thinking. We don't need any thinking. Like when do you need to think? We got a script that you read, not a whole lot of thoughts needed for that, right? Yes, you're going to learn how to think through the process, but if you're just brand new, we've got to learn by repetition. Okay? We've got to be in the habit of after this call, hammering the phones. It's it's not even a thought. It's not even a thought for Tyler. Like Tyler, what you doing after this?
We're dialing.
Yeah, what'd you do after this yesterday?
Same thing.
What about Friday?
Oh, dialed 100%.
Thursday?
Did not dial. Did recruiting dials.
Because every Thursday you do recruiting now, don't you?
Hmm.
It's weird. You guys know how he's like locked in. He's been doing the same thing for how long now? 2 years?
Yeah, this play's been running for at least this schedule's been running for at least a year.
Yeah, at least a year. And what's the only thing that's changed in this schedule? That it's not actually a part of the schedule because the results have changed. The results have gone upward. What else has gone upward?
Recruiting,
And
production,
but why
and
is your production gone up? You're working the same schedule. You're working the same
oh
hours. Why is
yeah,
your production gone up?
and increased investment.
Yeah, you're buying $2,200 worth of leads every week.
Yeah, just started that. Yeah, I'm fired
Yeah,
up
I'm
for it too.
excited for that to come back around. I'm excited. That's gonna be fun. All right, so there's that. There's the first 8 minutes for you. Okay, track your damn numbers if you want to win. Yeah, yeah, Danny. He went up to 22. He said we're not effing around this AO push. You know, we're in month 2 right now, and by we I mean him and Adam and all them gangsters down there. Okay, and he's got some dogs in the pipeline too. I'm excited for the guy. Okay, excited for the guy. I'm also feeling a whole lot like I got to get the hell out of his way, so I got to go. Okay, so after this call, I'm doing the same thing. About to burn down LinkedIn. Say, hey, got to get it together. That's our schedule after this. But um, we're gonna make a tiny tweak here from where we were going. We're talking about your numbers, okay? Have to have those. Now, I also want to talk because yesterday I told you guys we were going to work on how to write more applications. Okay? Can y'all hear my youngin? It's okay if you can. Cool. I can hear him, but we're good. Um, but Tyler, could you go over your role and purpose real quick? The key to writing applications. I know, man, you're talking about numbers now, talking about writing applications. Yes, the learning curve. Okay, we've talked a bunch last week about what? Booking appointments and a little bit about show ratio. Okay, yesterday we talked about more writing applications. Today, if you want to write more applications, you've got to master your role and purpose because that's the only thing that's going to be identical in every conversation that you have, every appointment that you run. Okay. Tyler, if you're ready, I'd love to hear yours because it's pretty good.
Yeah, so I think I forgot it. Um, all right. So
Did you forget it?
just to let you guys know, first and foremost, a little bit about what my role is here today and really the whole purpose of our meeting. Just like to let you guys know that what I do is mostly known as what they call a field underwriter. And that's just a fancy way of saying that I sit down each and every week with anywhere from 25 to 35 families that had sent in the exact same request and are looking to do the same exact thing that you guys are. And in reality, all I am is just the middleman between you guys and all the top rated insurance companies here in the country. My job is just to go out, shop around, find out who's going to give you the very best deal based on what we can get you qualified for. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll be asking you guys a couple additional questions here today. Just briefly going to be based around your mortgage, a little bit about your finances. Most importantly, going to be verifying the health information. And what all that information is going to allow us to do is really determine whether or not this is even something that you need. Because not everybody that I sit with needs this. And hey, if that's the case for you guys, I'll be the first one to let you know. All right, I will pack my virtual suitcase up early and I'll be on to my next family here. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Now, what we do tend to find out is most people typically need a lot less coverage than they originally thought. But you guys are going to be picking out the actual program. We're going to go through a really quick and simple application. They're not going to come to your house and draw blood, stick you with needles, none of that jazz. We're going to send the application into the carrier. It's going to come back immediately and say, hey, we got you approved. Once we can find that approval for you, they're going to mail that policy out to you guys. It takes them about 7 days. But what I like to do is go ahead and send a copy over to you through an email before I leave here tonight. That way, when you guys lay your head down at night, you know exactly what it is that we took care of. Does all that sound fair and make sense for you?
Yeah, sounds good. You ever get any pushback in there?
Like one out of it hasn't happened. Let me knock on some daggone wood, but
It's pretty rare, right?
it happens every now and then, but not very often. That goes ahead and weeds the people. I just want prices. Yeah, prices on what? Yeah.
Oh, well,
Okay.
yeah, the mortgage protection. That's why we're here, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're like at step 20 and we're back here at step 1. All right. It's kind of like it's very similar like if you were to take your car into like the body shop, right? You probably think you know what happens or it's like how when we get diagnosed on I like using the WebMD. It's like, man, you know how many times I've been self-diagnosed with cancer? Yeah. Last thing we want to treat you guys is treat you guys for cancer and all you've got's a headache, right? If you guys just give me a second, we're going to look at some things here. It's not a one size fits all. We tailor fit this specifically for each family because everybody's needs are a little bit different. So I've got here your date of birth is 1/12/93.
Mhm. So why do we do the role and purpose? Well, it's the same reason when we're booking appointments, what is it that we say once we're rolling? It's like, yep, I'm just a caseworker assigned to you out here in Robeson County. Listen, don't need you for long today. My job really just to verify the information that you gave us, make sure it's accurate on our end. Then we'll get those options to you here in a day or two. And you are still at ABC 123 Street, right? We get them on the yes train, right? We tell them who we are, why we're calling, that it won't take long, and then we get on with the conversation. We're setting a frame, is what I like to call it. I don't know if it's accurate, but that's what I like to call it. Same thing on this. Okay. All we're doing is we're telling them exactly what's about to happen on this phone call. We're telling them a little bit about why it's going to happen. And we're also telling them what? That they might not need it or nearly as much as they think that they do. So we're lowering their resistance there. Does that make sense? Like it's very, like if you can master this, and it doesn't matter if you're working final expense leads, it doesn't matter if you're working Facebook lead, it does not matter. You're going to have to set a frame at some point of who you are, what you're about to do, and why you're about to do it. And then check for agreement, get them on the yes train, and then just keep rolling. Right? That those that are asking the questions are in charge. They're the ones that are selling. The ones that are answering the questions are usually the ones that are buying. Okay? So if they're asking you a bunch of questions at the very beginning, like Tyler just said, right? What did you say, Tyler? It's like, yeah, we just want what's the price? Could you just tell me how much this costs? Yeah, what had you guys fill this out? Yeah, we just want to know what it cost. I guess, okay. What it costs. When you say what it costs, how do you mean? Well, I just wanted to see if I could afford it. Okay, afford it. Afford which part of it? Like it doesn't, they're asking a dumb question. They just don't know it's a dumb question, right? Just help them understand that it's a dumb question without making them feel dumb. Okay. Let me see here. Tyler, I know you walked away. Anything you want to add on the role and purpose? Anything in that vein?
Yeah, I mean, just get, I wrote mine down. I listened to, I think it was the Ayers and Sicily where they go over the role and purpose. I like literally wrote that thing down, like word for word, and used the same thing. And then over time, I just kind of made adjustments. Like throw your personality into it, kind of feel what fits for you. But that's always a constant. It's not a variable. It's always constant. That's always, like you said, the same. Use the same thing. And really and truly, like once you go through your role and purpose, if somebody's giving you backlash or they ain't your client no way. Like that's what the role and purpose does is it weeds people out really quick, and most of the time it's few far and in between. I've probably had like I said, knock on wood, maybe five in the past year, like that I can really think of or remember. Uh,
Hmm. And it's now here's the other thing. Has anybody here? You throw a two in the chat because it sucks when it happens. But oh, it's definitely. Did I? Yeah, I recorded it, Lauren. It'll be on YouTube in about an hour and a half. Anybody here ever been going through their role and purpose and it felt like they weren't listening? You guys ever done that? Throw a two in there. Trevor's like, if some people just haven't made enough, booked enough appointments. That shit used to happen to me all the time. I couldn't stand it. Hell, I'd be in their house, they weren't listening to me. Like, I'm like, gang, I'm right here. So there's little things that you can do. Here's a couple keys to help them stay engaged. Because sometimes it feels like we're just having a monologue with these people. Okay? Like, I don't know if y'all feel that way, but you can tell when somebody's engaged. You can tell when they ain't. Okay. And if you're not, like, if you're in La La Land yourself and you're too worried about what to say next, it's hard to know if they're engaged. That's why you got to learn this stuff fast. Okay. So you cannot be worried about you. You can be pay attention to them. Does that make sense? You don't have to worry about you. You can pay attention to them. That's what made Jimmy so damn good, is because he sucked for a long time and then he mastered his craft. And then he didn't have to worry about his craft or himself. He only was able to put his 100% of his attention on the other party and help them. So a couple keys here. Um, Before your role and purpose, it's great to pull out the why. It's great to pull out the why before. Okay. Now, when I'm starting an appointment, it's pretty simple. I'm usually 5 minutes late. I'll usually pretend like I'm pulling their file up. This is just my routine. Pretend I'm yep, so sorry I'm behind here, Tyler. Let me get this pulled up. Still good for you and Megan right now? She there? Oh, hey Megan. Good to see. While I'm pulling this up, man, how long have you guys been in the house? I'll build a little bit, a tiny bit rapport, like a tiny bit, like just a couple questions that I'm going to use later, right? That might be like, how long y'all been married? Um, where you guys from originally? Did y'all just move to Wilson County? Or y'all from like New York? You know, do I have, am I gonna have my hands full? That's what I'm thinking if they're from New York, but that's neither here nor there, right? Couple questions like that. I'm getting ammunition. Y'all's family from around here? They from way off? Like, I don't have to ask that question in the why if I get it now and then I can use it in the why. You guys follow me? It's an inside job. I'm playing chess. They just don't know. It's just small talk. Okay, I got you guys here. Now, which one of you guys have filled this out? Or which one of you guys have called that postcard? Y'all even remember what this is about? I'm being very casual, right? Very casual. It's like, oh, be honest, I don't even remember. Yeah. Do you remember what mortgage protection does? It's okay if you don't. And then I'm going to remind them very vividly. Okay, I'm going to explain it in detail. Yep. So this is, Tyler, this is just the coverage where, like, how do I put this? Heaven forbid you were to die. Okay, say yesterday. And today, Megan, with this coverage, it makes sure she gets the check to pay the house off. It can replace her income. It can do blah, 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 blah. Whatever I think their problem's going to be is what I'm going to insert there. Does that make sense? Now, for Now, but the last thing I want to do, this is how I end it. Last thing I want to do, Tyler, is waste any of you guys' time. That is what you guys thought this was. That's the coverage that you guys were looking into. Yeah. Okay. I guess what had you guys looking into it? And then I'm going to get an answer. And then my response is, okay. And I may repeat back. I'm not drilling there too hard. What I'm doing from there is then okay. I got that makes sense why you guys are here. And really my whole job in this, see how it's casual, but they're listening. It's casual, but they're paying attention. My whole role in this, I'm just kind of the middleman between you and them and XYZ, insert what Tyler said. But the other thing here, and then we're going to get out of here, is while you're going through your role and purpose, okay? While you're going through your role and purpose, you have to constantly check for agreement. You have to check for agreement. What does that sound like? I do it all the time with you guys up here. You guys follow me? Does that make sense? Is that adding up for you? Does that make sense? Right? Go ahead, Danny, because that was what I was going to do.
Hey, real quick. I just want to because I do mine a little different, so I just want to end on the recording for some of my people and whoever else wants to watch this later. So I do the exact same thing as you, Luke. I talk about like again, I kind of bring up why, what was their why, who called it in. You know, if God forbid you were to die, like would it be helping your wife? Oh yeah, what was your wife's name again? Oh, Sally. Okay, okay. All right, so I always like to tell my clients like I actually have like two jobs here. The first job is I like to find exactly what my client needs. And a lot of times my clients think they need a lot more than they actually do. So that goes pretty quick and that's pretty simple. So we'll kind of find out exactly what you need. And then the second job that I have is to find out what's the actual comfortable budget that the client has for that. And then my job is to actually match those two, kind of put those two together to find the thing that you actually are going to want. So, you know, when I say comfortable budget, I'm talking about like anything, any type of insurance whatsoever, right? It should always be a comfortable budget for you, right? And then I get them to say yes, and then they say, I go, okay, perfect. So like when I say comfortable, this should be like a Netflix account or like something that comes out of your bank account every month and you don't even notice it. It's just super simple. And and then they usually are kind of like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's bringing their guard down in that moment. And then I say, and then I go into the other stuff, but the only and maybe that's all I should say in this call right now, Luke. But I do something very specific with the budget piece after that. So then I go back over to what do you actually need, and we go find out are they going to be a final expense client? Are they going to be a full half quarter client? Um, and then once I understand where I'm going to go with that, if they end up being a final expense client because they're not going to be able to afford the gargantuous amount to cover the entire home, I go, great. This is actually great news. You need a lot less than you think that you do.
Hmm.
So my clients, they think when I have to pivot to final expense, they think that, oh, great, this is so awesome. I don't
Yeah.
know if your guys' clients do that, but my clients, when I pivot to final expense, they're like super excited about it.
Yeah.
So then I move to that, and then I go into a budget, and maybe we'll do a different call, different time, and talk about budget. But I just wanted to say that's kind of how I pre-frame the conversation, and it's important because then they know we're going to be talking about budget after this, which means this is a sale. And sometimes they'll say something like, oh, well, this is something that I have to pay for. Well, yeah, I said this is a state regulated benefit with the state of Hawaii, that that I'm licensed to go through. So what's cool about it is it's mortgage protection. So one of the cool things about mortgage protection is that it's usually a lot cheaper than like a life insurance policy, and it also comes with like a living benefits. And sometimes I can get policies as low as even like $10. Now, mind you, I will say $10 to somebody who's young. I will not say that to somebody who's older because I know that they're not going to get anything close to that. But I'll try and think of their age, what their situation is, and how low I can go for them. So if they're, in their 70s, I'm going to say, yeah. And a lot of these, policies, you can actually get to, as low as $20, $30 to cover your mortgage. And then they're like, uh, oh, okay. Okay. And I go, but again, that's why we have to go back to what is it that you actually need? And let's talk about that first so we can figure out what you actually need.
Yeah. That's
All
good.
right, good.
That's good. And that's basically the same thing. It's just a different way of explaining it. Like Danny cuts straight to it. I got more filter words. It works. Okay, it's all the same psychology, guys. I'm telling you, it's so good, Danny. So good. Um, that's all I got for you today. Okay, we're going to follow up on this topic tomorrow. We'll talk about certain problems, how to find problems, stuff like that. But you guys have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Deuces.